everybody, and welcome to the newest indoor adventure in Departure, part 11 of our Four Keeps campaign. Today is May 24th, 2021, and you are loved. That is a very important thing that we like to remind each and every single one of our viewers and listeners at the beginning of each and every single one of these games. If this is your first time joining us, you can go to youtube.com/indooradventures to check up on all of the VODs of each of the games that we have played up until this point, including full playthroughs of Ghosts of Strahd. I want to say Ghosts of Strahd. Why? Ghosts of Saltmarsh, Curse of Strahd, Waterdeep Dragon Heist, Tyrant Security, Tomb of Annihilation, and many, many more to come. We are also available anywhere audiocasts are made available for free. So you can consider going to check us out there as well. But if you all know, I am just all over the place today. Speaking of things that are being made available for free, you can go and check out our Patreon at patreon.com/indooradventures, where you can find our after show called Nights in the Courtyard, where we answer questions not only from the community, but also from each other. So if you have any questions that you would like to ask myself or any of these other fine folk, feel free to join us at that Patreon. I will post a link in the chat to the side right but if you already support us on Patreon, you already support us on YouTube and Twitch and all of those other places, and you're trying to think to yourself, where can I go to help support this wonderful show even more? Guess what, buddy? I got your back. Quite literally, in fact, because if you go to indooradventure.redbubble.com, we got t-shirts, we got posters, we got mugs, we got crop tops, throw pillows, shower curtains, aprons, clocks, and we also have face masks. That's right, we have Tia masks. That is a face mask with the symbol of Tiamat upon them, done up in all 5 of her glorious chromatic colors, with the design by our very own Cyberwolf 1201. So all of the proceeds of those face masks end up going to help support Doctors Without Borders. So if you would like to help support a good cause or possibly help support the show, you can again go to indooradventure.redbubble.com. That is indooradventure.redbubble.com. No S at the end. Mecca, thank you so much for the sub. Thank you. That is it for my opening spiel. So hey, RJ, who you playing today?
Hey everybody, I'm RJ, and today I'll be playing Caelum, the Shatterkai Wizard.
Hello, I'm LBHackEmUp. I'll be playing Gwen, the Halfling Barbarian Fighter.
Hi! I'm Cyber. I use he or any pronouns. I'm going to be playing Arjhan. He is a cis male, Illyrian, Draconian, Dragonborn Ranger, level 14, Cleric, level 1. Yes, I had to read that completely off of my character sheet because I'm very sleepy. He uses he, him pronouns.
A lot of words. Hi, everybody. I'm Wings, also known as Danae Keener. I go by she, her. I'm playing as Coriander, the Eladrin Paladin, who goes by she, they, or he.
I am the Indoor Adventurer, and tonight I shall be your Dungeon Master. So, last we left off, we witnessed not one, but 2 consecutive wish spells, one being performed by an Efreet, where you were able to reconstitute the body of your fallen friend Farron, Caelum's former father, into a physical form before you. At that point, he said, "Fork," and you're not exactly sure what that was leading to, but then immediately passed out, seeming to overheat. And Caelum, using a ability from his wizard school, was able to quickly gain the ability of how to cast the wish spell himself. Now, Caelum, performing the same thing, managed to make a gate spell, which called forth the body of Corvain Nightfeather, his former personage. And at that point, pulling Corvain out, complete with, who is rife with gifts and goodies, such as a robe of the Archmagi, a strange puzzle box, a couple gemmies, and some other things. You heard the sound of a magical breaking. Caelum, you specifically heard the sound of Mr. crying out. I wanted to kind of reiterate that it had just been Caelum that had actually heard that sound last session. I think that we might have said that others had heard it, kind of playing fast and loose at that point, but for specifics, it was just Caelum who had heard the goddess of magic cry out when he cast this spell. Retrieving the body of Corvain Nightfeather, Caelum, you suffered a terrible magic infraction, losing 5 feet of your overall movement speed, as well as gaining, as well as realizing that you would never be able to cast the wish spell again, having failed a roll to maintain that ability. Thankfully, this happened at level 8, so you didn't pick the wish spell as a 9th level spell, only to then have that backfire. So, big ups, playa. It was at that point that you decided that you were going to go back to the Goliath tribe to try and stabilize the situation, seeing as how Farron was alive again, but not in the best of shape. You decided that you were going to hang out there while he reconstituted. It was at that point that you decided that what was the worst that could happen with holding a ritual for Corvain to send his to like dedicate his body to the Raven Queen. Raven Queen found where you guys were with a swarm of ravens that like a flying storm. The body of Corvain disappeared after you had grifted all of his things from him, but Caelum also had disappeared. And at this point, Caelum, while in the Shadowfell, you cast a Dispel Magic on yourself to end the effects of the banishing. However, coupled with this, the spectral form of Amaris bought you time, choosing to stay behind. Caelum, you then let out not so much as a battle cry, but more of a promise to the Raven Queen that you were coming for her and that you were going to get your daughter back, which obviously sounds like a grand plan. LB/Gwen then had to play a little bit of mediary for the rest of the Goliath tribe, as this was not something that anyone was really privy to, and spent most of the end of last session kind of trying to stabilize the situation while Caelum was kicked out of said Goliath tribe, and Arjhan and Cori retreated back to the Manor of Moon's Tear in tow. Inside the house, Cori, you decided that the best opportunity, the best idea that you had was going to be to talk to Shar, which you said quite loudly in the middle of the living room with Caelum nearby, who... Caelum, that's not exactly a great time for him, so he left the house. But Arjhan, not wanting Cori to go alone, decided to accompany you into this meeting with Shar. And as the two of you entered into your chamber, Cori, which was stylized to look like the holding cell within the Fomorian fortress, where Shar had spoken to you on a multitude of occasions, that is where Caelum outside had crushed a sapphire and managed to retrieve the majority of Corvain's research notes. So let us kick off with the two that are currently speaking to Shar. Arjhan, you and Cori entered into this room, and you watched as Cori's form shed from this summer form that they have had to a form that you have not seen in a while, kind of like this dark, starry look, black sclera, purple irises, very much looking like an agent of Shar, but you know that it is still your friend. And Shar is there, and she greets the two of you, and at this point actually gives Cori a little bit of a compliment for bringing a friend along this time.
He has no dealings with you, but he has dealings with me. He's here to watch.
At that, she sort of smiles and takes off her glasses and just begins to clean them ever so. And she says, I'm not going to lie. I am rather surprised that you would want to meet. I thought that you were done with me. Or at least that's what you always said.
I'm here to ask a question.
And you know I love to provide an answer.
If only you actually did.
That hurts.
Rather than just being evasive.
Well then, sharp as tongue as ever, what is your question?
You know what would happen if I invoked the name of the Raven Queen.
She nods.
What is it?
Have you ever seen a lighthouse on a stormy day, and you know exactly where the light is coming from? If you invoke the name of the Raven Queen, you will be that lighthouse. She will know exactly where you are, and she will come for you. Because you know something that she doesn't want anyone else to know. Because if you have that name, there's certain things that you might be able to do that others would not.
I see.
It's not like a wish system where you get to speak her name and say, well, I have your name now, do as I say. You know
Certainly
very
not.
well that's not the case. But it does give you a certain level of influence, and she sort of like tilts her glasses forward and then puts them back on.
All right. When I learned the name of the Raven Queen, it unraveled me.
Yes. Yes, it did.
She, like, wrinkles her nose a little bit at the joy that this seems to bring Shar.
Knowledge has a price.
Understood. But does using it have a price?
Not in the same way. It depends on how careful you are in its usage.
Any input on that? If I were to use the name of the Raven Queen, perhaps to heal her or to subdue her, would it have any side effects on me or the people around me?
Side effects as in like growing additional arms or anything like that? No, there would be no side effects. As far as... how do I put this? You are speaking the true name of a deity. Others will know that you have this power, and they will also seek to learn the name. Your friends, there might not be side effects towards them. And there might not be side effects towards you. It really depends on the ripples that you make.
I see. But nothing along the lines of unraveling.
No. I wouldn't think so.
Well, this has been informative, surprisingly enough.
And it could continue to be informative. And
Well,
Shar looks past you and looks towards Arjhan.
I'm afraid we don't need anything else from you.
Quite possibly. But needing and wanting are two different things.
Wanting and pursuing are two different things as well.
But you've been pursuing her for quite some time. And I know where she is. Tylera. It's the woman you've been after for a while now, isn't it?
Your dealings are with me, Shade.
That hurts.
If I need to find Tylera, I will find it. I will find her my own way. I do not need your help. I do not want your help.
She sort of smiles. And she gives you an affirmative nod and says, well, if you ever change your mind, you know where to find me. And then she looks towards you, Cori. And she also sort of like wrinkles her nose a little bit in this smirk that says, I will remember this. And then she just gives a simple bow and says, "I'm happy to serve." And as she says this, she just sort of like seems to meld into the shadows behind her.
Cori rolls her eyes.
Okay. Meanwhile, outside, Caelum. Hundreds of pages of research notes have exploded around you from this Gemmy. And as they do, you see that some of them look damaged. Others look like burned. It seems like others might have like deteriorated over an extended period of time. But there are still quite a few pages that you can kind of like scrounge up and get together. So I'm assuming that you are doing this, just kind of compiling your research notes together. And it's been a long day. It has been a very long day, but the prospect of new information is definitely one that I would think that you would be looking forward to. So make an intelligence check to kind of like rearrange these notes in a more discernible way.
18.
18. Okay, that is good enough. So you are able to put together from all of these research notes a total of 5 research entries. Research entry 8, 22, 35, 64, and 76. Do any of these numbers jump out at you specifically, or do you just want to start from the beginning?
Right now, he'll start at the beginning.
Thank you, Whiskey Tango Foxtrot, 420 for the follow. Ow, damn it. That didn't have any kind of ring to it. I just fucking flicked a bottle. Yes, thank you. So, Caelum, are you just like sitting out in the field in front of the Manor of Moonstier as you're reading through these, or are you going back in?
Until someone comes and gets him, he'll find a spot and start reading.
Okay. So, as you begin reading, you get the following information. Entry 8. I had the dream again. I'm standing on the precipice, surrounded by your followers, and in that moment, it begins again. Everything we worked for goes up in a moment, and I am forced to relive my own cowardice. You are in pain, and I cannot help you. For all my years of study, for our decades of preparation, I never have anything to show for it when it comes to replaying the memory of the moment I lose you 1,000 times over. The day you became her. There was nothing I could do, and so I ran. I created a distance that let me live free of the realm we were supposed to live in together, but we didn't make it a paradise. No, what we made was a prison. A prison to keep the woman who would have been the sun away from the rest of humanity. I always wake up shaking, nauseous, knowing that we should have been there together, but I wouldn't have been able to fix you from that side. I wouldn't have been able to save either of you. Tomorrow I set out to the southern kingdoms to find the Red Hunter. I just hope he listens. It took months, and this is entry 22. It took months, but I was able to track him down. Arnbjorn, the Red Hunter, a ranger from the kingdoms who made a name for themselves fending off the Dragon Kings by himself. It's not easy to find a figure that even dragons were unable to find, but they didn't have the drive that I did. Because he has something that I need. The secret to saving her. I simply pray he is willing to share this information with me and I don't have to take it by force. Land, titles, gold, none of it matters. It never did and it never will. I would give everything to know the secret of spiritual severance. Entry 35. It won't be easy. Arnbjorn was understanding of the situation, but they were reluctant to divulge what they had learned. Effectively, as it was explained to me, spiritual severance is something akin to a manifestation. Using the 10 forgotten words, your ethereal consciousness splits from your physical person. But what Arnbjorn discovered was that the ethereal consciousness is not actually yourself. It's a manifestation of what others perceive you to be. A duality created by perspective. Arnbjorn was not always his name, but it was the name he chose. In a period of personal strife, Arnbjorn separated themselves from who they were, creating a duplicate. But the duplicate was what others had always perceived them as, and the duplicate was filled with hostility. The duplicate attacked Arnbjorn as they were, but ultimately, at least I hope, the duplicate was killed, and with it the name that Arnbjorn once carried. It was then that they gained infamy. A spell unlike any that had been cast on the plane before, which prevented the Dragon Kings from using what they had assumed was Arnbjorn's true name against them. When I met Arnbjorn, I had thought that this spell was intended to change one's destiny, but now I realize it's meant to actualize it, to create the version of you that you were always meant to be. Entry 64. After leaving the hunter on amiable terms, I began my work. He never told me the specifics of the spell, claiming it had come to him as a feeling and not so much as a quotient of spell components, words, and gestures, but as something raw, something visceral, something tied to his very being. It has taken over a year of study since leaving the Red Hunter, but I believe I have finally found the means of recreating the spell. I have tested it upon willing participants, and the results have been spectacular. However, on these individuals, the catalyst was always something that could be obtained easily. And then you see that there is it's almost like, you've seen this before in text, where you're guessing that it is the name of the Raven Queen, but it has just been completely torn away from this page. Like it almost looks like static on the actual paper itself. For blank. I believe I must go beyond the realm of reason. If she gained her power from when we accessed the plane of positive energy, then I must go to its polar opposite to find the balance, to find the counterweight that can bring her back to me. Entry 76. This will be my last entry. It has been roughly 3 years since the events of that day that some have called the Sundering, but I am ready. I have tracked down where I believe to be a catalyst that I will be able to use to cast spiritual severance to return her back to the way that she was. I will finally be rid of the creature that has plagued my nightmares, and I will be absolved of my cowardice. Outside of the plane of negative energy, I fear that the catalyst may be more of a problem than a solution, so I have fashioned a puzzle box with the help of my teacher that I hope to house the material component I need to free you. And once you are free, we can live the life we had always intended. Just you, myself, and our beautiful child. I love you.
Caelum is silent as he stands and makes his way back into the house. And he's gripping the research notes in his hands.
I would say that as you are finishing reading that last research note and you are collecting everything to head back in, that is roughly around when Gwen is making her way out of the tribe and can just sort of see you also making your way towards this building.
I think I've averted the problem for now, but I did have to kick you out for the foreseeable future.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's a lot.
I bet.
The other two are, well, trying their best too.
Trying their best to relax and calm down after everything that just happened.
get some answers on some subjects.
Through books.
No.
Through what?
Cori's contacting Shar again.
What? Why?
That's a question you're gonna have to ask her.
What is it with you two? I need a nap. I need to be alone. I need a nap. Where's Arjhan?
Moral support
With Cori?
with Cori.
At least one of you has supervision. Okay.
I have dark
When does-
vision out to 60 feet.
I'm gonna go take a nap.
Yeah.
Gwen goes and takes a nap.
Okay. Yeah, you both make it back to the manor. Gwen, as soon as you get inside, just head upstairs, room, big sleepy time. Caelum entering into the room, entering into the manor. Was there anywhere that you wanted to go?
He goes into the kitchen with the stuff and finds the puzzle box.
Okay.
He'll stash it on his persons for the time being.
Sounds good. And it is the puzzle box itself, as described last week, is about 8 inches long, 4 inches wide. It almost looks like a wooden tome. There are no pages, but like roughly around the same size and stature is just this puzzle box. So it's pretty easy to carry with like your other books and things like that.
He'll ask Gideon to zip back up his room, and he'll hang out there with the door open for the time being.
Yeah, for sure. And then, yeah, Caelum, as you're like sitting in your room, door open, that's when you hear the door across the way open that you know is Cori's room.
You two get cursed yet?
No, we didn't.
Huh.
As Cori steps out of her room, she'll spend a hit die to go back to autumn form.
Sounds good.
We should talk in the morning.
Okay. Yeah, we'll do that.
Gideon, a query for you. Are you able to cast spells?
I have certain defensive capabilities.
If I were to get you a ring of spell storing and then store a teleportation circle in it, could you learn it and cast it inside yourself for about a year?
And there is a pause. I would need time to process. But
It would.
Worst case scenario, I am not able to do this. And you may have the ring back.
I was thinking, in case we need a quick escape, all the other locations are too open, and you do have active defenses. Could be plausible.
I will see what I can do.
All right. Caelum is going to spend the entire night just staring at the shield.
Okay. Sounds good. So, long rest, long rest, long rest. Sounds like sleepy time for everybody. Thankfully, your night goes by uneventfully. You are in your house. Gwen, As you were like just about to get comfy, you hear scratchies on the door. Gideon opens up the door. Cybra comes in, and she just sort of like snuggles up next to you.
Gwen will snuggle and scritch and give her, like, Gwen is the big spoon.
Oh, yeah. And then the following morning, you all wake up, those of you who sleep. Others have taken a long rest again, gain the benefit thereof. I believe taking, is it a whole day to reduce
It's
the
a
number
whole
of days?
day of light activity.
Gotcha. So
I'm still at 6 basically until I can get a couple of days in.
Gotcha. So yeah, waking up the next day, you're all kind of like in different stages of awake, and there is a knock on the door, and whoever is downstairs or whoever you think would be like closest to said door, upon opening, it is a Goliath messenger who tells you that your friend is awake. You were all told, or you all said, like, hey, when our friend wakes up, fucking tell us. So they are doing that thing.
I totally forgot we left him there. I'm so sorry. I mean, thank you for your service. Your chieftain appreciates it.
They give you a powerful salute, bow, and then they quickly make their way back to the tribe.
Gwen will climb up on Cybra very sleepily and ride her down to sea.
Okay. And Gwen, are you letting any of the other party members know?
How early is this?
It's pretty early in the day. It's probably a good, like, 8 a.m. That's early, right?
I mean, no, but Gwen probably went to bed early, so she's been up for a while. Yeah, so she'll say, hey, Gideon, when the others are moving around and stuff, can you let them know that the person is awake? But give me like a 20-minute head start. Can you do that?
Of course.
Thanks, buddy.
Okay. And Gwen, you head out. Arjhan, as you are waking up in the morning, Gideon informs you the person is awake.
Am I supposed to know what that means?
That is what your friend Gwen told me to relay to you.
Oh, Farron. Okay.
And Cori, you also receive the same message of the person is awake. Caelum, you also get a similar message.
Well, seeing as I'm barred from the village, starts tacking Nightfeather's notes onto a chalkboard.
Okay. Pepe Sylvia. So yes. Cori, Arjhan, are you going into town to meet Farron? Or is this sort of just like, oh good, he's awake now?
Arjhan would go and make sure that Caelum is going to see him, but if he's not, because he's banished from the tribe, then he's going to go see Farron and see if we can get him to the house.
Yeah, for sure.
Or I'll tag along with Arjhan to see if Farron needs any medical assistance.
And given 20 minutes prior, Gwen, as you enter into the med tent, you see that there are several Goliaths that are like in the process of like stretching out Farron's arms and like making sure that he is moving. And as he sees you, you see a quick grin shoot up the side of his face, And very tiredly, he says, "No one beats off constantly."
All right. Well, okay. Yep. All right. All right. You won me over. I was coming down here because I wanted to make sure that you weren't some undead zombie sort of thing, but you got me. Good to see you, Farron.
What? There are some things that need to be filled in.
Right.
First off, I assume I'm in a Goliath tribe.
Yes. This is the Tread Thunder clan. I am their chieftain. I know it doesn't make a lot of sense. I don't know how much you know from the start, but
Things
yes, I
get
am
a
the
little fuzzy.
yes. Caelum is close. The rest of the four keeps are close as well. I just wanted to come down here to make sure that you, again, were not an undead zombie thing that needed to be put down. Good news, you're not, or don't seem to be. So, I'm glad you're okay.
And when you say that Caelum is close by, you see Farron, that smile, like, quivers, but it still maintains its integrity.
Mm-hmm.
He is smiling because he is sad,
Yeah.
in the sense that he is happy that his boy is safe. Ish.
There is something you need to know before you go see Caelum.
I think there are a lot of things that I need to know.
What's the last thing you remember before it all goes black?
The last thing that I remember was that I was having an argument with Elisharis in the Dwarven city.
That's good. That's good. That is she is boy, I don't want to tell you all of this now because I feel like that's going to be a lot for you.
Well, here,
Kayla.
help me up.
Oh, okay.
If you said that he was nearby, I can still walk. It's just been a little bit.
All right. Terizo, can you I can only help you walk so much because of the height difference. I'm just going to have my brother carry you. It's like a mile that way. I mean, like probably like 3/4 of a mile. But when you see Caelum, he is a lich now.
And Farron just like opens and closes his eyes. Just
He's okay.
See, I was
Still have-
out for a while then.
Yeah, kinda.
And then, as he's saying this, Terizo just sort of like scoop, like just hands underneath his arms and just lifts him up like a big ragdoll man. And like
Yep.
Farron like goes to take a few steps and like his muscles aren't all the way back to the way like to the
Yeah.
peak fighting form that they were before. He hasn't walked in a while.
Yeah.
But Terizo is helping him and eventually like arm around his side and like just all right, buddy, let's go.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like that's all you need to know before you. Cori lost her arm before you saw her with that, right? She has a fake one.
Yes.
Okay, cool. I think I mean, Arjhan might look a little different.
He looks different every time I saw him.
Right, okay. He's a growing boy.
And Farron has a very tired chuckle at that. And I want to say, like, as you guys are exiting the boundary of the Goliath tribe, that's when Cori and Arjhan are making their way there. And the two of you see Gwen talking to Farron, who is currently being propped up by Terizo. And then when Farron sees the two of you, he just sort of gives a very lighthearted wave, a weary smile, but he's awake. He's up. His speed is halved, but he is all here.
Oh, great. Great. DM, last time you had mentioned a lot of images of smolderiness and the like. How much of that did Arjhan pick up on?
Make an Arcana check.
I was thinking more of just like what he was able to like see, but 17.
A 17. So from what you were able to see during the initial process, like his being put back together, like from the ash of wood, from flames, like that sort of thing, knowing that it's from an Afridi, knowing that you had no piece of the body to then bring back to life before you did it, there may have been some additional things that happened with the casting of such a powerful spell. And seeing Farron as he is now, having witnessed that, you're guessing that that elemental tie to fire is still present within him.
Okay. Just to dot my I's and my T's and stuff, Arjhan would like to just like nonchalantly like touch his holy symbol and get some primeval awareness. I would like to sense whether any aberrations, celestials, dragons, elementals, fey fiends, or undead are present within 1 mile of me.
While he's at it, I'm also going to divine sense.
Yeah. Okay. So thankfully, no fiend, no fey. Normally, under any other circumstance, it would be like a little bit of celestial, but the nature of Farron's resurrection is that he has like a little bit of elemental coming from him. But in the way that like a tiefling has like a little bit of fiendish about them.
So,
or a little bit of infernal, I guess.
On a scale from generic human to dragonborn to genasi, where on the like taste of elemental am I getting? Is it like a LaCroix or a Fanta?
It is definitely like a LaCroix. Yeah, it's not a Fanta. It's not like the full-blown flavor saver kind of thing. Like, there is just like a little hint of that elemental residue.
Okay.
As
This is acceptable.
As they approach, Cori is going to do a quick change to summer. And presenting masculine today, approaches Farron and says, "Well, you're looking fine."
And Farron just like watches you do this quick change and just, see, Arjhan's not the only one with new tricks.
Sorry, I forgot to mention that one too.
Arjhan is just gonna like lean over to Cori and whisper to him, we've got a little bit of elemental going on here. I hope it's not. I don't think it's gonna be dangerous. I've never had a problem with elemental stuff.
Not willfully, at least. We'll see. And then Cori looks at Farron and, speaking Ignan, says, "Do you understand me?"
And
Which sounds like a lot of hissing and crackling of a bonfire.
And Farron like skews up his eyes a little bit and just like kind of gives you a look and then just nods.
Oh, that's fun.
And then
Right.
he
Little
sort of like
bonus.
just has this like confused look on his face, like, why can I understand this?
You want to fill us in, Cori?
Oh, he understands Ignan.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh. Like, Farron is also like, I don't remember speaking Ignan.
We should talk in the house.
Yeah, that's. We'll tell you everything over there.
Where we can also provide some refreshment.
Yeah,
Right.
Farron.
And a comfy couch.
Yeah. Teresa will lead Farron up to the house, escort him inside, set him like into the kitchen so that way like chairs pulled up, he sits down. And then Teresa is going to go back to caring for his own baby rather than this big baby of a man. And he bids you all adieu. And Farron is just sort of like sitting at this table, taking some deep breaths. And he just has like this like strange, like befuddled look on his face.
Caelum, we have company.
I imagine this entire time Caelum has been going over Corvain's notes. He catches himself in the mirror and stares at it for a while as the words perfect self keep echoing in his head. And then Arjhan calls out and he shakes it off and heads downstairs. Hey. Hey.
And Farron smiles towards you and says, "It's good to see you.
It's good that you're back.
I would stand up to greet you, but apparently my legs don't want to work as once they did. At least for now."
And as he's saying that, Caelum rushes him.
Just big squeeze. Farron
Probably topples the chair over.
Farron, you just hear is making the like, my bones, please. Why, they all hurt. Every single one of them. I have never felt every bone in my hand before, but I do now.
Your bones are new.
Why are they new?
Yeah, we didn't really tell him a lot. I did tell him about your condition, but I thought maybe it'd be better if we're all together, sort of thing.
Or he hikes both of them up, just lifts the chair and just like thunk, rights the two of them.
There's a lot we should catch you up on.
Well, it seems that I have nothing but time. Where's Mugwort? Where's Prescott? Are they around?
Tell them.
I should
Shit, we
call
didn't
them.
tell them. Yeah.
Well, we can go there, right? Like we have that coordinate set.
Where are they?
I want to say Lake Town, but I know that's not the actual name.
Oh.
Galay.
Galay. There should be waiting in Galay. Doing a bit of adventuring there.
Do you want to let them know that we are incoming?
What? Okay, first of all, sorry. We should probably explain what happened to Farron.
Oh, yeah.
He's probably pretty confused.
That's an understatement, yes.
Yeah.
We do
Caelum,
that.
do you want to explain or do you want me to do it quickly?
I'll go make a call.
Do you want me to explain then?
He'll nod his head.
Solid. Okay, so I'm not going to remember everything because it's LB. Hi. But Big One basically goes through and says, all right, so first of all, that blonde chick you were with, total bitch. She turned out to be evil and not who she said she was at all. And then she'll go into the story of how he was tricked into going with her, blah, 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 blah. And then she'll leave some stuff out about Caelum killing him, sort of thing. And then you died, and we buried you. And then she'll go into the story of how the rest of the time was spent.
And like when you say like, oh, you died, he's like, do you also mention the fact that like his spirit got ripped out of his body, and something else got put in, like all of that?
like
Or are you
it's
just like
all in,
glazing
like a
it?
positive light. It's a positive. It's a Gwen story, so it is like a
It's a good
just
spin
keep
on it.
going. Yeah.
I mean,
and
she
it's
says
like,
she says it in a Gwen way, which means that she just keeps on going, and
Yeah.
like you don't get a chance to react to
No,
whatever
not
that
at all.
was.
And then we found this fire genie thing, and it was in bondage. So we're like, that's not cool. And we're like, we'll just let you go. And it was like, oh yeah, I'll give you a wish. So we decided to wish you back to life. So we wished you back to life. And now you're here.
And when you say that he gave you a wish and you wished him back to life, Farron's jaw, like, he was already gobsmacked, but now it is like jaw just drops. I have no words to say other than to give my thanks.
Yeah.
Don't look so glum, Ferrum. You get to join the club, as it were.
Yeah, what he said. By the way, I'm the only one not in the club.
What? Out of everything you why me?
Because you're Caelum's dad? I mean, I know you're not literally Caelum's dad. I'm very aware of that.
Like,
But
just
Farron, out of everything in the world that we could have wished for, we all agreed that you dying wasn't right.
and he just
We
sort
saw a
of
chance and we took for it when we took it.
and he just sort of nods his head and says, I will never be able to repay you.
Good thing we're not asking you to.
yeah, I feel like we kind of owed you one on this one.
He just sort of like looks really confused at you when you say this.
Yeah, so going back, the Caelum that we were traveling with was a similar simulacrum. And I'll let Caelum tell it, but you kind of got tricked. It wasn't right. Plus, there was that bitch, the blonde one. Not Tifa, the other one.
No, I'm... And he just sort of is like, he doesn't know what to say about
Do you want
most
tea?
of this. I think some tea would be lovely.
Yeah.
All right, and Caelum, giving a ring-a-ling to Prescott and Mugwort. What are you saying?
Nope.
Nope? Okay.
There is a crash from the other room.
Hmm?
Okay.
I didn't roll over 33.
Please tell me he didn't break the thing. Gideon, did he break you?
RJ, what were you trying to do?
Sending has a vocal component to it, Steven.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Cori vaults the table. Runs back to check on him.
Arjhan's right there.
No, I'll be here.
Farron sort of like
This
turns
happens
in
a
the
lot.
chair.
Yeah, we need to talk about your parenting skills a little bit.
Just says, well, you have me cornered.
So what did we see?
Caelum on the floor, clutching his arm. There is a light purple tone to his eyes as he looks up, kind of in a panic.
Whoa, buddy. If Arjhan like goes down, like checks him out, is he getting any sense of anything.
How long does primeval awareness last?
Like a minute, I think. Let me check again. 1 minute per spell slot, so yeah, it's gone.
Okay. So yeah, looking at Caelum, he is still under the effects of what had happened with the wish spell previously. With its failure, you know that it is unless he is like specifically just doing light activities, not casting spells, just like hanging out, having some tea, there is a continuing chance that he will continue to suffer these effects from said wish spell. Cori, make a perception check.
Oh boy. 17.
17. So with the kind of like purple glowing on his eyes, as well as his arm also having this kind of like magical effect as he is like holding it closer to his body, you see that his arm is creating slight after images of itself, almost like it doesn't seem stationary in its place. You've seen this before.
Okay. Cori like kneels down next to him. You're worse off than we thought.
I'm just a bit tired, Cori. I'm fine.
You need to be resting.
I can't rest until I know that Amaris is safe.
I understand. But you can't keep going like this. You're going to hurt yourself, and then you're not going to be any help for Amaris.
Caelum relents. Sits there defeated.
Prop him up in his chair. No more magic. Not until you're feeling better.
It's kind of what I do.
I understand. Believe me, I do. Just for a little bit. In the meantime, you can do the other thing that you do insanely well, and help with some research on how to handle the Raven Queen.
That's what I wanted to talk to you about, the notes that Corvain left. There's a way.
A way to
Save her.
Before either of you continue this conversation, we need to have Gwen here. And I feel like it would be kind of rude to take her away from our guests.
Fair enough.
Caelum shifts his hand under his cloak. He'll stand.
Cori will support him.
Shall we move the house to Galay?
Yeah.
Gideon, if you would.
Yeah. There is the creaking sound of your house moving as... And Farron is like looking out at the window at the Goliath tribe. Like, I imagine it's like he and Gwen being like, oh, this is all... That's your tribe? Wow, it's very impressive. quite like a vast number of people. You're really making a name for your.
Very nice.
What's happening right now? As like the outside just appears in like a flurry of leaves.
Guys, do we not talk about anything anymore? Are you just gonna like move shit whenever you feel like it? Like not tell us? We need to like clench first, if you don't mind.
Farron just like gives you like a frown. Like,
What if Cybra was going potty outside, huh?
Cybra was supposed to be left in the camp.
Cybra was going potty outside.
See, this is what I'm talking about, the whole racing thing. I mean, like, this consideration is not really there.
And Farron just like he laughs, but then like he like clutches his ribs. Like laughing hurts right now.
Arjhan, Cori, and Caelum come in on that.
Oh yeah.
In Farron's defense, my first father was a real asshole.
I mean, it's true, but like my adopted father kind of shaped me, so
There's just some things you can't shake, Gwen.
yeah, I know. Hence why my handwriting's so immaculate.
Anyway, I have moved us to Galay, where Mugwort and other person
Prescott.
No.
Prescott.
Farron's right there with you.
Right. Which is the one I slept with?
Mugwort.
Mugwort, got it.
We were not able to contact them, but we should be able to find them. Not in that way. A different reason.
Good. Glad. Okay, well, we'd have to bring him here, right? I mean, no offense, Farron, but you're not really going anywhere right now.
Not unless you have a cart. I can just sort of sit on.
No, not that moves with us.
Yeah. All right. Boy, if Cyber was here, I could just ride around into the city and find them. But I guess
I will go look for them.
Okay. You know what? Why don't I come with you? Extra pair of eyes, and I'm not that heavy.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, so you guys are able to manifest the house about like several miles outside of the city of Galay. And Gwen, you and Arjhan able to leave the house.
Yeah, Gwen just leans in as they step outside. Could we just lay off the magic for like until we get back?
That's what we're trying to do.
Oh, good. Okay, cool. Just don't burn the house down. No parties.
Caelum waits for them to have been gone for about 20 minutes before he turns to Cori. You do realize they left the elves alone again.
I was stifling laughter as they went out the door.
Mm-hmm.
So bad things happen when they leave you two alone.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Oh, boy.
Oh, good.
We've got a lot to tell you.
Well, I can't really go anywhere. Pick your favorites.
Look at them.
Yeah, you don't really have to say anything. Just look at
them.
One's missing an arm, the other's a lich. They're like, oh, we get into some wacky shit. Let me tell you.
Yeah, I certainly hope they aren't holding you accountable for our actions.
I hope so too.
Ooh.
They have parental supervision, right? They're gonna be okay.
Sorry, I'm distracted because I just read the chat.
I
hope so.
Levi.
Yes, so
good points were raised.
Very good points. And I feel like Arjhan, as you and Gwen are making your way towards Galay, as we move away from the house, Farron's like overlooking this lake, the house manifested near like Kelenocht, and he just comments on how he always enjoyed this view. And then going back to Gwen and Arjhan, the two of you make your way to Galay. Oh, Triumph and Blunder! Thank you so much for the raid.
Hey, welcome.
Thank you, Kaelric. I think that's how you pronounce it. Thank you for the follow. So Arjhan, you and Gwen are making your way towards Galay. And entering in, this town definitely seems like there's significantly less hustle and bustle than there was last time. The sheer amount... Oh, thank you, Evlemek. Thank you for the follow. That's not our Discord link. That's fine, though. Boop, this is.
Whoops.
Yay. I know, I need to change it. Happy birthday, me.
Yay.
So as you are getting there, you notice that there are significantly less adventurers, and it seems like this town has sort of like quieted down from its adventuring boom. The disappearance of said shadow giant roaming the countryside, as well as like an evil scientist operating out of a castle, has all been thwarted, and now it's more just like kind of clearing up the countryside.
Sorry.
As you are traveling through, you end up going to a familiar tavern at this point, as that is at least the last resting place that you knew Mugwort and Prescott to be. Roll a D100 for me.
Okay. Gwen has questions for the walk.
All right, so
Do you want me to roll it?
questions for the walk. Let's address those first off.
Okay. So Shar. Oh wait, Gwen doesn't know. So you were supervising something?
Yes, Cori. He'll tell Gwen. Cori was talking to Shar about some stuff, the true name stuff. Got answers to what would happen if she invoked it, but not really so much how to use it.
Right. Just like, is it just cool that we go talk to Shar?
No, of course
Yeah,
it's not.
I didn't think so. But you kind of took it casually, so I didn't want to be like overreacting.
No, I was very against the idea, but if Cori was dead set on doing it, if they felt like they needed to do it, I couldn't stop them. So the least I could do was be there, make sure nothing got incredibly out of hand.
Yeah. I feel like we're kind of just back where we were like months ago. Like you and I and them.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be so bad if they weren't like actively not learning lessons.
Gwen, I'm not about to fight a god.
Yeah, no, I am not. No, at 100% am I not going to fight a god. I thought I fought a god. That was pretty cool. I'm not going to... The Raven Queen is someone that my people follow. I'm not going to fight the Raven Queen.
When Tiamat first reached out to me, she quickly got a hold of me that nobody has ever done or been able to do. I thought I was powerless before, but I've never felt weaker or more helpless than when she was in control. And the more we go up against these other gods, Shah, the Raven Queen, the more I'm terrified that I'm going to be in that position again, and I don't want to do that.
Yeah. I get that. I don't want to see any of my friends get hurt. But also, I understand, and I may, like, not show it all the time, but I understand my limitations. And I know that if we were to do that, if we were to go up against her, if let's say Tiamat decided that you were going to be used as a tool to do this or whatever it is, that's some scary shit. I don't get scared that often, but like these are otherworldly beings that are more powerful than we can, you know. I mean, you know. I mean, I know. Tempest has like kicked me in the chest. It was awesome, but fucking terrifying. I don't like messing with gods. I don't. That's why I like my god. He is very hands off.
I was fortunate that I can find aspects of my god that I could deal with.
Yeah. And you deal with them well.
But, Arjhan is visibly shaking as he's going back to the very abusive start of his relationship with Tiamat.
Gwen will take his hand. She'll reach up and grab his, well, like two of his fingers.
But, I guess let's just focus on this so that we can get ready to start going back to Vaskor.
Yeah, still have a lot of shit. We still have a lot of shit to deal with. So I think maybe when we find Mugwort and Prescott, we leave Farron here for a while. Go deal with these worms. And then hopefully we can rest for a while.
Some actual downtime.
Hey, we had like 3 months.
Yeah.
The tribe wasn't all that bad, though. Like, I mean, staying there, right? And hey, maybe this time we can go where you want to go.
No, does not.
Cool. She'll keep holding his fingers.
Yeah. As you guys are holding on to fingies, making your way into the town of Galay. You enter into the last known tavern that you remember Mugwort and Prescott hanging out in, Keller's Tavern. And upon entering inside, you can see that the bar is otherwise empty, except for what looks like a wizard who, like, in their eyes has aged probably about like 20 years since you've last seen them, and a dwarf who is currently drunkenly yelling at the barkeep about a tab that they have not paid in quite some time. And as the doors open and the two of you walk in, the dwarf sort of like stumbles and turns around a little bit and squints and just, "Oh, for keeps." And Mugwort sort of like raises his hands and like gives you a wave, and it seems to set him off balance, and he just falls to the side like a tree, drunk off of his buns. And that is where we are going to go into our break for the evening. So we're going to try and be back in 5 to 10 minutes. Don't go no place unless it's to grab a food, grab a drink, grab a friend, or possibly go to indooradventure.redbubble.com. Pick yourself up something nice, and we'll see you guys shortly. All right, everybody. See you soon. And we're back.
Steven!
Hello, everybody. Ah!
What does a depressed tortilla say?
I don't know.
I don't want to talk about it.
Oh, it's so big. Oh, what a great
Hi,
cat.
everyone. This is Taco.
I love him. That is a chongy cat.
He's on a diet.
He gets upset at his mom and pop.
Oh, bless.
He is Taco Cat. Spell him backwards, and he's still the same.
I'm a palindrome.
All right, so
What about friendindromes?
don't trust your friend Palpatron. So Gwen, you and Arjhan have walked into Keller's Tavern. You see a very tired looking Prescott who just does not seem to be enjoying himself, looking away from the door, and who's actually looking trying to look as pointedly away from a drunken mugwort who was arguing about the tab that they had run up with the bartender before he turned around and said, "Oh, hi, Four Keeps," and then proceeded to pass over and out. And at that, Prescott turns and looks towards your group as well.
I should take care of this. Less restoration.
Damn. Yeah. Mugwort, just sort of this lesser resto washes over him, and then just, I've not felt this good in quite some time. And Prescott says, "That's what you say every time you get drunk. Now, what? Sorry. It's good to see the both of you. But as you can see, business has not exactly been as booming as we once thought it was, seeing as how we took care of the main threat, but our stay has run a little dry, at least in terms of welcome, but Mugwort insists on not having it be a dry stay."
Yeah, Arjhan, can you pay the tab? We need to go for a walk. The four of us.
And Prescott just sort of shrugs, packs up his stuff. He doesn't really have anything better to do. Whereas Mugwort is standing up, kind of dusting himself off. He's gonna go start grabbing his stuff. Arjhan, the bar tab that they have run up is about 75 gold.
Well, that's coming
This
out.
barkeep. Yeah, this barkeep is not doing his job.
Drinks are around a couple silver.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
He should have cut him off a long time ago.
Yeah.
I need a calculator for this.
Oh.
Okay, so, yeah, Mugwort collects his stuff, and the bartender just looks at you, Arjhan, and kind of low whisper as you're paying it. "It would be great if you could just have them not come back here."
I intend to get them far away from this place
That
and out
would
of your hair.
Excellent. Fantastic. And again, just sort of has this stank, I am tired of dealing with adventuring types, but the money is good when adventurers are successful. So yeah, Prescott takes his stuff, Mugwort gets his bag, and they will meet you by the door. And as the four of you get ready to head out, or are exiting out of the door, Prescott says, well, first off, thank you for paying off that debt. That was... At first, we were on better terms when jobs were still going, but then jobs stopped coming, and then... we didn't really know where to go. to be quite fair. It was either head south around the lake or north, but we've already been north this year, and we know that there's not really going to be much until we could get back to Sirt's Hellier, but I don't like the Ceaseless Quarry. Those guys are kind of pricks. But that's besides the point. Where are the other two?
At the house.
They're back in our house.
All right, just wanted to make sure nothing ended up happening to them as well.
Well, you've seen Caelum recently, right?
About as recently as when you all left.
Have they seen him as a lich?
Yes, we rescued him as a lich.
Okay. This is not Miss LB.
Or
Hi.
yeah, no, they. Yeah, they would have seen Caelum.
Yeah, because they helped bury
They were part of the
body.
raid.
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
So, what do you need our help for? Some kind of grand adventure? A giant is awoken from a 2,000-year-old slumber? Or there's a dwarf king who got himself too many cups? And Mugwort says, I was never a king. Never a king. All right, then.
Lances up at Arjhan. Should we tell them? Or just let them see?
Let me preface this by saying there's a reason why I sobered you up rather than just to be a buzzkill.
Is it because he needed it? I was fine. I could stand on my own 2 feet, no worries. But it is helpful. Although now my stomach is full, but I have nothing to show for it.
Well,
I think it's something that would be better explained whenever we get to the house. But
right.
Secret mission. Okay. Mugwort is like, I'm down for a secret mission. And you can see that, like, the age in Prescott's eyes are just from having to deal with Mugwort by himself.
let me also preface this by saying we are not asking you for any favors or asking you to join us on anything.
We have a gift.
Well, no, I wouldn't call it a gift.
Surprise?
News.
We have news.
All right. And Prescott just sort of is like, yeah, sure. Like, okay. And Mugwort is like, surprise? News? And like, kind of like puts his hand on his chest almost expectantly of like, is this when Gwen gives me a heartfelt confession of love? And then, like, you continue to walk, and he realizes that that is not the case, and he lets himself down easily.
And whenever we get there, Arjhan will just open the door.
And it is a straight shot into the kitchen, and you see kind of like propped into a chair off on the side is Farron with his small cup, and he waves his hand, and you just hear a, "Hey guys, how have you been?" And Prescott, mouth is like tight, purse tight. His eyes are wide, and he's just like staring like the only way I can describe it, Donald Glover on Community seeing LeVar Burton, where his eyes are just wide and just like you never meet your heroes thing. Like he's just like, what the fuck? And Mugwort just, surprise news is
Yes.
like
He's back.
he just like keeps like half putting out words and then just like bolts into the house. And as he is, you hear Gideon.
Oh God, he is fragile.
You hear Gideon just, please take off your shoes, and like just like not paying attention as he runs in, tracking dirt and mud in with him. And then just like wraps Farron up in a big hug. And you hear Mugwort just, he's like laugh crying. Just, you son of a bitch, you're back! I never thought I would see you again. Like, and then, like gives him a big kiss on the forehead, gives him a big hug, and then just, how did this happen? What did you do? Did you make a deal with somebody? I told you no deals. We all agreed no deals. If we ever died on the same plane of existence, we weren't going to do this. I didn't make a deal. I don't know. It was the
We'll start running through the story again.
Yeah, and Prescott, like, looking at the house, takes a step in, hears the, like, please take off your shoes. And, like, okay, takes off his boots, like, still wondering where this disembodied house voice is coming from. But then he will also enter in. And he'll look at your group, Prescott will, and then look back at Farron, your group. And then you just see visually that a weight is lifted from Prescott. And he just sits down at the table and just like puts his hand on Farron's shoulder and says, "You absolute shithead. This is why we always go in groups. This is why we always win off by, not by ourselves, especially not after Elisharis, really." Like, he's just, like, berating Farron for going off and dying. And Farron is just, like, yeah, I know, she was part of the group for a while. I thought, and this is why we only ever have a group of 3. As soon as you reach 4 people, then it just becomes really weird, and there's a strange dynamic. No offense, but there's a strange dynamic, and Farron's,
right here, Prescott.
And Prescott like shoots you this look like, I know, and then looks back at his friends, and then just. And, like, in the middle of berating, lets out an exasperated sigh and then looks at the 4 of you again. Just, thank you. I'm still very mad at him. Thank you. It sounds disingenuous, but I mean it.
I mean, this is the most genuine I've ever heard you be.
Fuck
so.
you.
You're welcome.
Sorry.
I was being serious. Jesus.
Cori laughs heartily and slaps him on the back and says, "Oh, Prescott, you sour grape."
And he just, like, has, like, he wants to be, like, he's, like, emotionally smoldering right now. Like, you guys were just like, hey, guess what, guys? Like, we have a surprise. We got good news. Your friend's alive.
So we thought that it would be a good idea for you guys to, take care of him for a while. He's still, like, there is a lot going on in the world right now. Don't go to Sir Tailier.
Oh,
Vaskor.
Vaskor.
Wait,
Don't go to Vaskor.
Are there
Sir
mermaids
Tailier
in
was
Sir
fine.
Tailier? Okay.
Yeah, that was
Just
fine.
kidding. I just named a city that I knew. I'm sorry.
Well,
Yeah.
I had interpreted that in my head as Shroudport, which I was also just like, no, yeah, that should be fine. We took care of that one.
Well, how did this happen? How you were dead. Like, we killed you.
Well,
Yep.
And Farron's like,
Oh, yeah.
And then, like, looks
I left
towards
that
Gwen.
part out. I'm so sorry. I left that part out because it would be a little shocking. If you want to fill him in on the rest of it,
yeah. And
I didn't want to just implement you
Yeah,
all of us in this murder.
as soon as you say, like, oh, you can fill him in, like, Farron looks towards Mugwort, and Mugwort's like, okay, so from the beginning, there was Elisharis, outright bitch. Don't like her, she's dead now. It was actually Prescott who killed her. Chromatic Orb. It was good. It was
Good
like
for
a
you.
critical hit or something.
great.
So she's dead now. Then there was also a situation where so do you remember the like little laughing puppet thing that Caelum had? It was not that nobody really liked that thing. But then the strange tiefling man who had like twisty horns coming from his head, he ended up changing the spirit of you and the doll, and so like the doll it had your spirit inside. I'm not really sure. It's like magic bullshit. But then they threw the spirit in the fire. We couldn't get you back. It was very sad. Then the laughing thing inside of you was trying to attack us, so your last wounds may have been from the Four Keeps. And as soon as that happened, we did our best. We fended off everyone that we could, and the Four Keeps rescue Caelum. Rescue Caelum's fine. Caelum's fine now. He's a little dead for the most part, but like he's still good. He's still a good guy. He's still the same Caelum that we knew. And so then we buried you. And Prescott and I were very sad, and we didn't really feel like adventuring after that, and we didn't know where to go, so we just sort of stayed in Gile. And Farron just sort of like, wait, you buried me, but you know what? All things considered, things could have ended worse. And Prescott just sort of like mouth agape at the freshness that Mugwort delivered this recap. And then just like, I guess that's mostly it, anyways. And Farron again just sort of like laughs with his friends, and just says, "It's good to be here." And Mugwort says, "Well, like, how did you even come back? Like, the Four Keeps did this, yes, but like, how did you come back?" And Farron will actually say, "They wished it." And at that, Prescott's eyes like get very big. His head sort of cocks back, and Mugwort, like, the word wish is thrown and it sails very clearly over his head. And he's like, "Well, I wished for you back like every day, and it did not happen."
Mugwort, I am a very powerful magic user. I don't know if you know this about me. And it's, just a trick that I can do.
And Prescott says, "Do it again right now."
Well, no one else is dead. Do you want to die? I can do it now.
And he just like slow blinks at you.
I'm
shakes
kidding.
his head. That's... I take back most about what I've said about your group. And Farron sort
Say
of
that
like...
Caelum's a good bean.
And Prescott like gives you this like... I'm not going to say it. And Farron just... Prescott.
It was Caelum's idea.
Prescott, I'm right here. Hey, buddy. And he sort of like pokes him. He's like, "Feel that? That's me being alive. That's me being alive because of them. Just this once. I promise I'll never tell anyone. It stays in the house." And Mugwort just, "Come on. You can say it." And Prescott just... He's good being.
I'm sorry, just a little bit louder for me. I'm very low down. Sound waves don't travel that far.
He's a good bean.
He is a good bean.
Gideon, play back 10 seconds.
Affirmative. He's a good bean. And
What about the
Prescott,
keeps,
like...
Prescott?
Prescott just, I fucking hate you. Like, says that towards Farron, and Farron just, like, laughs a little bit and then holds onto his chest again from the force of laughter.
Oh, hold on. Caelum stands up, walks up to his room, rustles in a chest for something, comes back down. He holds out the windswept saber to Farron for when you're better.
And Farron takes it. You held on to this.
It was with me everywhere I went.
And Farron just sort of clutches it. Thank you. This was my father's sword. When he died, he passed it on to me. I think I should visit him. At some point. But that is a plan for another day, another adventure, another journey to be had. But in the meantime, drinks, celebrations, libations.
I think we have some whiskey
Not
stored
from
around here.
Mugwort.
Mug, what did you do?
I did nothing. We stayed in the town. There was a tavern. I stayed at the
Prescott,
tavern.
what did Mug do?
You ran up an obscene tab.
Which I've just paid off and would not like to do again.
And Farron just like looks at Mugwort. This is why you were never party treasurer. Mugwort sort of just like, well, come on, like, I used all of my personal money. Yes, about a month ago. Yes. No. It's just needed one more job, and then it would have been fine. No, that's not how adventuring works. That if we do have one more job, chances are we're leaving that town and we'll never go back to pay off that tab. We don't do those sorts of things. Anyway, the four of you said that you were going to take us somewhere, so that way Farron could rest.
Right. Did we?
That's what Gwen said.
Well, where do you want to go? We have business in Vaskor. So we'll be heading in that direction, but we cannot head there directly.
Where are the places that you can even go in this thing?
Gideon, list all the recall points.
Recall points are Grove of the Hermit, Galay, Gwen's Tribe, Shroudport,
Dragonforge. Temple.
Dragonforge.
Not Temple.
No, we removed the temple.
Yeah, because Caelum has it in his spell book.
Feywild.
And Farron says, well, in this state that I currently am in, I don't think that I'm up for doing much. So what do you think is the safest place for me to go to?
Shroudport's under new management.
Shroudport's under new management. The safest place would probably be my house.
And take me there. I've never heard of a place called Dragonforge before.
It's an up-and-coming neighborhood.
Well,
Fancy as fuck. They're actually doing a lot of rebuilding right now.
well, maybe we can help with the building once I'm capable of moving on my own again.
Gideon, please take us to the Dragonforge.
And so it works. Gideon then like swoops you all away, and Prescott is like You hear him mutter, fascinating. He's read about the Manor of Moon's Tear. You guys told him that you had this mystical, magical moving house. He's never been in it himself to witness this. So this is great for him. But within a matter of minutes, you make it to the Dragonforge, kind of landing in that space between houses where your building usually occupies. And at that point, you see that quite a bit of the town is still in the process of getting rebuilt, but right now they have a lot of the I was gonna say house skeletons, like the boards and everything that are set up.
Frames.
Yeah, the frames. So the house frames are currently back to the way that they were, but they still need to actually go through with all of the proper side paneling and roofs and things like that. But there are, you see, Jirana is 4 giant boards on either side that she's just walking through the town with. Kendek is still in the process of just making more tools for people to use. Your found family of draconians is here still, and opening up the doors. Prescott and Mugwort kind of exit out, look around, and then as now the glamour that was keeping the tower hidden is now visible to all, they just sort of stand in awe seeing this giant, almost metallic tower sticking up out of the ground towards the sky. And Farron asks for some help up, and Prescott will actually be the one to lift him. And stepping out, he looks around and he is in awe of what he sees. It seems like he is not exactly taking this second chance that he has been given lightly, and is trying to appreciate everything with new eyes. And for the rest of the day, as you get here, and it's around, I want to say midday or so, for the rest of the day, you manage to speak with Ren, sort of set up a house for Off Constantly, make sure that they are taken care of. Ren says that they, if they would agree to it, can act as sort of a standing guard for the Dragonforge, just so that way we can have them on payroll, and then in case anything does happen while you guys are out, there's still Jirana's people, there's still Kendek, there's still your guard Drake, but there will also be more individuals here that are capable of fighting, as well as training others in how to fight as well. So if that is agreeable to all of you, Ren will make it so. And as it gets later into the evening, a large feast is prepared for everybody who is here. And I would say that, all things considered, the day goes by otherwise uneventfully. At one point, I would say that Ren ends up coming up to you, Arjhan, to talk a little bit more about Jirana. Having spoken with her over the last several days, he lets you know that about what he's found out about how her people were able to travel so quickly to actually meet you at the Dragonforge in your time of need, which is that there are rangers that are capable of doing rangers and druids that are capable of moving through trees with a quickness, kind of moving from tree to tree that they can see. What the Unan people are capable of doing is that they can turn themselves into forms of pure electricity for brief sparks, and are able to travel through the echo shards of the mountains and actually through the clouds themselves that are capable of holding an electric charge, using that same general principle. But it seems like the spell was just altered in a sense. Like, it was more, it made more sense for their people to learn how to travel through minerals than it was through trees.
Interesting. Okay. I'm not sure what to do with that information.
And Ren doesn't know either, but he is fascinated with it.
Of course you are.
I mean, considering ulterior modes of transportation, that sounds really cool.
And convenient.
And as he's
Can we do stuff like that?
Gwen, that's actually like relatively similar to the property that you have with your Echo Shard gauntlets.
Yeah.
And it's
That sounds-
sort of what the Lady of the Forest was allowing us to do.
Right. I was not there for that.
Oh, sorry.
Whoops.
That doesn't help us get to Vaskor quicker, though.
Right. Unless they can transport us.
And Ren says, not without a storm cloud. Caelum.
Hold on. I gotta check if I have that spell.
Oh, lightning?
No, it's my
Or
other character that has
control
control
weather.
weather, yeah. Never mind.
Yeah. As far as Ren knows, there aren't any storm clouds that are going to be making their way here shortly. And Jirana is actually setting up to spend most of the season here, just to try and learn as much as she can from others like her down to the south. So that way she can kind of bring new information back to the Yunnan up north. As Ren also has gotten from her that there are roughly about like 500 people in her tribe. It's not massive by any means, but it's still nothing to scoff at as far as like a nomadic people, or not a nomadic, but like a group of people just cut off from the rest of the world.
They are welcome to stay here as long as they like.
Gwen would like to talk to them more about trade, just in our downtime, because she did go and talk to her people about it. So just as a side thing.
Yeah.
But, so
Make a persuasion check.
Oh, Lord in heaven. Persuasion, I'm good at that.
Do you need to be guided?
Boy, do I.
I guide. You
Is
get
that
D4.
A D4, okay.
I mean,
Oh,
yeah.
boy. Oh, boy. Uh, 10.
Okay, so a 10. You are in the process, like you have like shot your shot with with like trying to convince this Yunnan that you should open up trade, and that like this is what we can offer, this is what you guys could offer, it could be a really mutually beneficial thing. And the individual that has let you speak and recite this entire process without ever like butting in, just sort of like nods. And then Tengen, one of the other Yunnan, comes up and then like ruffles their hair and informs you this is the one that can't speak. You were muted.
I was just practicing. Yeah, I knew that. I just wanted to let them know because, where's the person in charge?
And Tengen points towards Arjhan's direction.
Yeah, thank you so much for listening. I appreciate you.
You also know that they are very new when it comes to speaking common.
Yeah. She feels a little less embarrassed knowing that, but also hella embarrassed.
Okay. So, yeah, your attempt at convincing them to trade does not go according to plan. You know, like, if they could speak common with fluency and were able to make these kinds of decisions, perhaps this would have gone a different direction. It's not that you weren't convincing, you were just talking to the wrong people.
Absolutely.
Yep. But night ends up rolling around. Is there any conversation that any of you would like to have here on the night that you, I'm guessing, are either going to be planning on staying at the Dragonforge for a couple days, or are you going to be just like popping over to popping as close as you can to Vaskor and then trying to make your way there again?
I can rest on the road. I don't think we'll get much trouble on the way to Vaskor.
Yeah, I feel like we would need to just try the trip again, and this time not release any game-altering things on the way.
By the by, I've been giving it some thought. Caelum will hold up the Amulet of Health. I can only really manage 3 items, so this is going to waste on my persons.
Does anyone else have attunement slots open?
Nah.
Nope. Well, we can still hold on to it.
All right.
We can sell it.
Kind of. All right.
I mean, is it meaningful to you? Is it something that, like...
It's been bolstering my health for as long as I've had it. It's felt a lot hardier.
But if it's not useful anymore, you should get rid of it.
This does not bring me joy.
Exactly.
Let it bring someone else joy.
Okay. Yeah, over your evening at the Dragonforge, throughout the feast, Farron he seems to definitely be spending a lot of time just like sitting near the fire. He's been sipping like one drink very slowly over the course of the evening. Like, as far as he knows, and as far as we are all concerned, he has just come back from the dead pretty recently, so it's not like he's not exactly feeling like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get fucking blasted tonight. No, like he's still recovering, but it's more of like the act of sharing a beverage with his friends that he is enjoying. Also, I would say that throughout the evening, you definitely hear that Jirana is like trying to speak as much common as she can. Although it is definitely broken into phrases such as more food, more drink. Like, she loves the word more, as well as like strong and big she uses to identify herself. And you notice that she is consistently trying to start conversations with Kendek. And Kendek is just like very much like always like looks at Jirana as she's speaking, then like tries to look away a little bit, and then will like look back towards Jirana as she's speaking towards him. Like, he is not necessarily like in an uncomfortable place, but he has never had a figure such as this trying to interact with him on an extremely personal level. And Ren is just like constantly like, you need to try and speak with her in common. Like, that's how she'll learn. You also speak Draconic. It will be easier for her to learn. So, like, he is trying to, like, get these two to speak more often to each other. And Kendek is very much just like... Like, he's in the situation now.
Leave this man alone.
So evening goes by. Successfully, Nobody comes to fuck with you as you are recouping from such a difficult day.
Best not.
Huh?
She
Said
said
they
best
best
not.
not.
Yes. Or else we'll throw hands, and not even our own. That's how you know we're serious. So then the next day comes around, and you guys are getting ready to leave, and Farron is feeling significantly better on this second day after he has been able to move around a little bit more. He doesn't actually need anyone else's help in order to move. And he will make his way towards your group as you are getting ready to leave. And he like takes a stance in front of your group and gives each of you a like an affectionate touch of some sort. Like he gives Caelum a hug, he gives Cori a hug. Gwen, if you are able to, he will give you a hug as well. Arjhan, he doesn't know if you're a hugger, but will at least like extend an arm out towards you.
Okay, he'll shake.
He'll like give you a very hearty shake as well. And with the windswept saber at his side, he gives a very deep bow and says, "For keeps, I owe you my life. And this is something that is found true. Quite literally, I was dead, apparently, 3 days ago, and now I'm back here. So I want to let you know, your town is guarded. That is what we have been hired to do, and that is what we shall do with pomp and vigor, and we will make sure that when you come back, each one of these buildings is standing better than you left them." And like a board falls from one of the buildings that is still being in the process of like being remade.
Pretty low bar, but I appreciate the sentiment.
What is it? Under promise, over deliver. And
That's a really good saying. I'm gonna steal that.
That is the guarantee of our adventuring group. But I guess
Well,
we're not so much adventurers anymore. At least for now.
Huh. We'll be seeing you, Farron.
I hope so.
goodbye off constantly.
And Farron will bow again, and he says, "Goodbye for keeps. And thank you again."
Can you tell Mugwort I'm engaged? Just let him
I'll
down
do
really
that.
easy. Thank you so much.
I'll have, you know what? I could let him down easy, or if you want him to never bother you again, I could have Prescott let him down easy.
Well, your version of letting him down easy versus Prescott is the difference between me using Featherfall and just Prescott letting you drop.
Oh, he's never let me drop before, except that one time. But, like, we were having an argument. It was fine.
Why don't you do it?
Okay.
That'd be great. Cool,
Yeah.
thanks.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. Well, we're gonna go save the world.
And he will give you the 2 fingers salute, just motioning from his head. You all...
Before we leave, do we need to revisit that thing that you and Cori were talking about within the house?
That's a team meeting.
Well, we have a team here.
All right.
Donna?
10 minutes tops.
Yeah. So you guys are able to enter into the house, and it does take some time to travel using the house, so we can just say that this team meeting is happening as the house is moving.
Okay.
Caelum has a pensive face on as he's drumming his fingers on the table. Overpromise, underdeliver. Is that why you looked really disappointed when you walked out of that room with Mug?
Oh boy, we're not gonna talk about that. We are not gonna talk about that. You guys had something you wanted to talk about.
Right. Cori, I need to know something. In your correspondence with Shar, are you still feeding her information?
What do you mean?
Well, I'm only assuming since you go to talk to her sometimes.
I hadn't spoken with Shar in a very long time. And as far as whether or not I give her information willingly, no.
Great. Gideon, raise the light level in the kitchen 50%.
There is the, I want to say it's like the night vision, like whee, as like the lights just sort of like increase, and now you can just hear that fluorescent like sound of electric.
Yeah.
This is big. I got Corvain's notes. And there's a way to save the Raven Queen in there.
Save her how? Save her from what?
Yeah. Say more words.
Right. So, during the Sundering, when the Raven Queen basically made the shadow fell, something took over her, something possessed her, Corvain was aware of this and went out, found some specialists, developed a way to split the soul. In his notes, it reads, well, basically it splits you into two possibilities. Your, what people see you as, your, what's the word? Greatest possible being versus what's left. He's used it a few times. Successfully.
To what results?
A lot of the notes were burnt and unreadable. What I could gather was it works. The problem being that whatever's left will fight you.
We've done something like that before.
Right.
Are we
Chua.
sure he didn't already do this?
He died.
And that's what the Raven Queen is?
He died in the plane of negative energy before he can actually complete anything.
Uh-huh.
To do this, you need some sort of catalyst. He might have found it. But opening it will attract the wrong kind of attention, so it might be a gamble if I open it here to see if he did get it. Or we can... Well, better safe than sorry, actually.
Whoa, we're not doing anything right now. We have a bigger problem to handle, no offense. The Dark Star, the worms, saving cities, right?
I agree with you.
And I don't think anything should be done without... I mean, like, I know you're a really powerful wizard, and I think that maybe you should consult with someone else who knows what they're doing. Like, you know, we're going to a place with a bunch of wizards, right?
We hope.
Right. So maybe this is a good idea, but I don't know. And I don't think anyone else here is qualified to tell you that. Again, for later, but maybe you should talk to someone who's done a lot more stuff and knows, like, has done, like, the proper studies and stuff.
I'll try and talk to Mistra about it.
That's a good idea.
Yes.
And then, regardless of that, we also need to go to Vaskor and see who is in charge at the moment and who can help us prepare the city or defend the city, so
Right. Or save the city, depending on what's going on there.
I'm sure we can curry favor with somebody who is very knowledgeable in this sort of fate transmutation stuff.
I don't want this actually getting out. It's a little too much for the world right now.
Very well.
After Vaskor is settled, I'm going after her.
I'm coming with you.
You're going after the Raven Queen?
I'm going after Amaris.
Who is with the Raven Queen?
I don't know. She might have escaped. She might be there by herself. I was told not to use magic for the time being, so I can't really
Probably a good idea.
check up on her.
I can't go after the Raven Queen, Caelum.
I can't fight her.
We wouldn't need to fight her.
Just break her in half.
Well, if we put it that way, it wouldn't be breaking her in half. You separate the two souls, and you get...
Caelum, my people worship the Raven Queen. Like, I can't just go and fuck with a god. Especially not one my people worship.
You have fucked with primordial beings, nightmare serpents. You have fucked with celestials and dragons. We don't have to fight her this time. But if you don't want to come with me, that's fine as well.
I don't see how I can.
Right. Fine.
Cori, make a history check.
Full of concern. There you are. 18.
Excellent. Cori, as you are hearing this conversation between Gwen and Caelum about going up against a deity and what that would entail, and fighting them, killing them, that sort of thing. Like a bad itch that just can't ever go away in the back of your mind. You remember a conversation that you had with Shar, where Shar told you that when you defeat a deity, you can take on their profile. You can take up their mantle. You know that if your friends are worried about killing the Raven Queen, you know someone who would be able to take on that role. That someone is you.
Oh, fuck. Oh, okay. I was like, is it Shar? Because I don't want that to happen.
I do have to say that you're not the only person who has been asking the gods for help in this situation. I've also been asking Tiamat if she has any experience that can help with the Raven Queen situation, being an entity that literally splits herself into 5 consistently. She could not, or there wasn't anything that she could do that the Raven Queen would be very receptive to. I'm very concerned if we're trying to do anything to her. Things are only going to get bad for us.
Like they aren't already.
As they continuously become whenever we try to meddle in these sorts of situations. I know this is an impossible ask, but I would be much more comfortable if whatever plan that we were doing to get around having to fight the Raven Queen, that we were doing it with her consent.
I think that's going to be next to impossible.
That's what I said.
Why don't you talk to Chua? That might help put my mind at ease a little bit.
Because you kicked him out of the tribe.
There's more ways to talk to Chua than going there.
I'm not supposed to use my magic.
I can do it. I talk to her all the time.
Well, ask her how she feels about this then.
Again, why don't we focus on the task at hand before we go fucking with deities?
We have time to think on it.
Yeah.
Once Vaskor's done, that's it. I'm going to make some preparations, and then I'm going into the Shadowfell. I'm not leaving Amaris another second in that place.
What's your plan if you succeed?
Get her back, get out.
With the spell.
I still have a lot of research to do on the spell. If I succeed, we fight her worst half, I guess.
We don't necessarily have to fight her yet. We just need to get Amaris.
If there's one thing I'm comfortable with, it's going up against undead.
There's going to be a lot of them there.
If you go into the Shadowfell, if this is what you're dead set on, and you continue to be dead set on this after we deal with the, world-ending situation that sits before us, I will accompany you into the Shadowfell. I will help you get to where you need to go. But the moment that you raise your hand against the god, I will stand aside.
That's fine. Honestly, I'd do it alone if I have to.
Well, you don't have to. When Caelum was taken from us, there was nothing in the world that could stop us from trying to get him back. Now that he's found himself in a similar situation, how could we ever ask him to do anything different?
What if it was Coraline?
Well,
What if it was
Coraline
Tiamat?
Coraline would have to be doing some pretty bad things for us to be in that situation.
Okay, what if it was my god?
No offense, Arjhan, but I was willing to throw hands with Tiamat long before you became friends with her.
Regardless of the god, you don't mess with family.
I'm sorry, Caelum. I can't.
Fine. We've done everybody else's bullshit. This is fine. He'll get up and leave.
And as it so happens, the house landed probably about 5 minutes ago. So you're just able to get up, start making your preparations, and I'm assuming it is going to be a quiet cart and horse ride for most of you.
There is the visible lack of a shield on Caelum's back.
Okay. So getting on to your mounts, you head out. At the end of the first day, Gwen, are you going to try and speak with Chua?
Yes, probably just by herself though.
Okay.
She'll inform Chua Gwen understands enough about magic now that she can relay what Caelum relayed to her about this spell, and about what it does. So yeah, she'll just tell Chua that.
And Chua says, in a way that's similar to what we did to help your friend.
Yeah. Yeah.
That it pulled all of the negative things out of him, and then you fought it inside of my tent.
Yeah, I remember.
Would it... If Caelum ends up doing this, and there are then the two, if one remains, we still have a Raven Queen.
I don't know. I don't know.
I do not know either. But that would be my guess. And after what we saw, after that face that I have seen, I am scared. But if what your friend says is true, if what the stories have said are true, then there is a queen inside of her that is fighting, that is trying to get out.
It's not that I just don't trust him to do it right. To do it and not... I mean, what if he kills her? What happens then? I mean, what happens to all of her pantheon and stuff?
From what I have heard in stories, they would go to someone either next in line, or if she chose people to give them to. There was one god of death that had 3 people make their way to their citadel up in the afterlife, and then that one god bestowed their portfolios upon 3.
Would that be better than what's happening now?
I don't know.
Well,
I am an old woman who has seen chieftains rise and fall. And you're asking me about what if you split a god in half and then killed one side but not the other. Your guess is as good as mine, chieftain.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. See, this is why I want to talk to somebody about it. Somebody who, like, would fucking know.
My guess is that you won't know until you try. But out of everything that you have said, I will leave you with one lesson. You and your friends repeatedly have done the impossible. You have always come back telling me stories about how you went to this plane and this place and visited with a magical holiday Christmas man, the Centaur.
He's fucking sweet.
And each time you come back, thanks to the help of your friends. You need to believe in them, and you need to trust them. Outside of the tribe, they are your counsel. If you do not believe that your friend Caelum is capable of doing the spell, then he will not succeed.
I don't think magic works on a belief system.
Yes, it does. It very much does. Otherwise, I would not be able to do a multitude of things that I do.
Well, yeah, okay, yes, I understand that the deity belief system, that's different. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about if I cross my fingers and hope, then yeah, it'll happen.
Magic does not work on that style of belief system. But confidence does.
Thank you for your counsel.
Of course, my chieftain.
Let me know when Cyber has her pups, okay?
Chua nods.
Gwen stops playing her flute and goes to bed.
Okay. Then you guys are trying to move with a quickness towards Vaskor. So you will have 5 days of general downtime. So Caelum, your magical afflictions, I believe will be gone after the 3rd day, as that is after the 2nd day, because again, light activity does a boy good. As you are all still roughly about a day away from Vaskor, it is towards the evening, and the moon is almost at its full phase. And as you are gearing up for camp, the world seems quiet, almost eerily so. You're used to hearing bugs, you're used to hearing wind, you're used to hearing anything. But there is not. And looking down past this road, the road that has been leading you towards the floating city. In that direction, you hear a thunderous noise as a beam of pure red shoots up from your vision, like from the horizon, pierces straight up through the clouds, and you see hit the moon itself. And as it does, this beam of red begins to kind of merge outward with that same reddish color until the entire moon is the color of blood. And that is where we will call it for tonight's session. So I'd like to say thank you to everybody who decided to stop on by and join us for this wonderful session of Dungeons and or Dragons. I'm having a great time with all my friends. Such a great time. Look at cyberspace. That's a great time.
What the fuck?
Yay! Birthday. I'm having a great time. So, RJ, speaking of great times, where can I find you? What do you do?
Hey everybody, I'm RJ. You can catch me at RJustice on Twitter and Twitch, where you can see me tweet about the nerdy things in my life and lament. Catch me here on Mondays as Caelum, the Shadowkai Wizard, in our homebrew campaign. Over on Open for Adventure on Wednesdays with Cyberwolf. We're playing Legends of the Lazuku, which is a sandbox game. It's a desert campaign.
Hey.
I play a Tabaxi Barbarian there on, not this Thursday, Saturday. It might be our last episode of Star Power, which is our JoJo's Bizarre Adventure / Persona-inspired game that uses a system called Overarms. We'll see if my boy survives the timeline correcting itself. Over on the Hype Goblins channel on Sunday mornings, you can catch me playing Rollin Grandbrook, a sorcerer, half-elf cleric. The family just met his girlfriend and the rest of the party. Steven, his girlfriend's a Naga.
Nice.
They're about to have a ball too, so she's going to be in a pretty dress. Catch it then. DanaeKeener.com.
Hello, everybody. I'm LBHackEmUp. You can watch me, or you can see me at LBHackEmUp on the Twitters and the Twitches. We just hit 300 followers on our Twitch, and we are doing a giveaway. Lauren is making a custom tumbler, and we have some stickers that I just got in, and we're giving away some dice. Yeah, stickers. And you can catch me next live tomorrow on my channel at 3 o'clock playing some Dead by Daylight. And after that on GGK, we are playing our Call of Cthulhu game this week, which is hella fun. And it's just me and Alex, and David is running it, and it is just a joy. But yeah, check out all my stuff. If you want to be entered into the giveaway, there is a pinned tweet on my Twitter. Comment on that, and you'll be entered. And we're going to pick the winner on Friday. So cool. That's me, DanaeKeener.com. Well, I'm not DanaeKeener.com, but that's me, DanaeKeener.com.
Hoi! I'm Cyber. I play video games real bad and talk about lore over on Twitch. That's twitch.tv/cyberwolf1201. It's spelled like something over here. Is it here? Is it here? I think it's here. There we go. It's spelled like that. We're going to be playing Turn Up Boy Commits Tax Evasion this week. So that's going to be a fun tax evading time. Archives of that go to a new YouTube, but youtube.com/cyberwolf1201 still exists, and I'm hoping to work on some other content for there. But instead, right now, I'm working on content for Jabroni TV. It's got a whole bunch of cool stuff like the Pokemon battles, and something else is going to come up after that. So check that out. But for games, I'm here on Mondays. I'm on Open for Adventure on Wednesday, as RJ already said. DanaeKeener.com.
Speaking of DanaeKeener.com, hi everybody, I'm Danae Keener. You can find me at DanaeKeener.com. I do nerdy drawings mostly related to D&D and a lot of things on this channel. You can also find me at Danae Keener on Twitter. I've got a schedule pinned there that tells you where I am and what all the streams I'm doing. And you can also find me at Flailing Wings on Twitter, where I do all my shit posts. DanaeKeener.com.
And if you've made it this far, you probably already know who I am. But if you don't, hey Acorns, what's up? It's me, your buddy, your pal, your friend, the Indoor Adventurer, the showrunner here at twitch.tv/Indoor Adventures. We do shows like this on Monday and Thursday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, as well as on Sundays at 7 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If this is your first time joining us, you can go to youtube.com/Indoor Adventures to check up on all of the VODs of each of the games that we have played up until this point, including full playthroughs of Curse of Strahd, Ghost of Saltmarsh, Waterdeep, Dragon Heist, Tomb of Annihilation, Tyrant Security, and many, many more to come. But for now, we are going to be heading into our after show called Nights in the Courtyard, where we answer questions not only from the community, but also from each other. So if you have any questions that you would like to ask this wonderful cast and crew, feel free to join us there at patreon.com/Indoor Adventures, and we will do our best to respond in kind. But for now, I would like to once again say thank you to everybody who decided to stop on by and join us for this wonderful session of D&D. And thank you to these players for putting up with my bullshit once again this week. And we'll see all of you guys next time. All right, everybody. See you soon.